Trapped in the Storm, 3 true horror stories so disturbing we almost didn't upload this. Welcome to Midnight Whispers. Most people are afraid of what's out there in a storm. The darkness. The flooding roads. The loss of power. But the people in these 3 stories, they weren't afraid of the storm. They were afraid of what the storm brought with it. Have you ever been home alone, power out, phone signal gone, and felt that strange, creeping feeling that something was off? That the silence between thunderclaps was just a little too heavy. You told yourself it was nothing. You told yourself you were safe. These people told themselves the same thing. They were wrong. Tonight, we're covering 3 accounts submitted to us by real people, stories so deeply unsettling that our team debated whether to upload this video at all. These stories share one thing in common, a storm that didn't just cut the power. It cut off every possible way out. And something new that. If stories like these are why you found this channel, hit that subscribe button right now, because we upload new horror every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Let's begin. Story 1, The Knocking. This first account comes from a woman we'll call Rena. She submitted this story herself, and asked us, specifically, not to include the name of the county where this happened. We honored that request. At the time, Rena was 34 years old, living on her family's farmstead, a property that had been in her family for 3 generations. Her husband traveled for work. Long stretches. Sometimes 2, 3 weeks at a time. She was used to being alone out there. She was used to the quiet. What she wasn't used to, was the knocking. It was a January storm. The kind that doesn't announce itself properly. 1 hour the sky was gray and still. The next, the wind was pulling at the shutters and sleet was coming down sideways. Rena had done everything right. Candles staged throughout the house. Fire going in the living room. Doors locked. Phone charged to 100%, not that it would matter for long. She was settled in. A book. A blanket. Hot tea. Then came the knock. 3 sharp raps. Front door. She assumed a neighbor. Maybe someone whose car had gone off the road. It happened out there. She went to the window first, careful not to open the door. Nobody on the porch. She waited. Then it came again. But not from the front. From the side of the house. Then, after a long silence, from the back. Rena stood in her kitchen, completely still, listening. And she realized something that made her stomach drop. The knocking had a rhythm. Not frantic. Not desperate. Not the way someone cold and scared would knock. Slow. Deliberate. Patient. Like whoever was out there already knew she wasn't going to open the door. Like they were fine with that. The power died 20 minutes later. Complete darkness, except for her candles and the white flash of lightning every few minutes. She had moved to the center of the house. Her back against the wall. Fireplace poker in her hand. And then, during one lightning flash, she saw it. A shadow. Moving past the back window. She ran to the front door to get out, and that's when she saw it. The back door. Standing open. 3 inches. Cold air pouring in. She had locked that door herself at 6 p.m. She was certain of it. She spent the rest of that night in her truck, in the driveway, engine running, doors locked, watching the house. When the storm cleared, she called the sheriff. What they found inside made her hands shake for a week. Muddy boot prints. Starting at the back door. Moving through the kitchen. Down the hallway. Stopping, right outside her bedroom door. And one kitchen chair, pulled from the table, positioned to face the bedroom. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was broken. Whisper, someone had simply come inside, and waited. And left when she didn't come to them. Rena sold that property within the month. She's never gone back. What haunts her most, she told us, isn't that someone was in the house. It's the chair. Because moving a chair takes time. It takes comfort. It takes someone who wasn't afraid of being caught. Before we get to the second story, if this is already getting under your skin, you're not alone. Drop a comment right now and tell us, have you ever heard something during a storm that you couldn't explain? We read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. The next story gets worse. Story 2, Signal Lost. The second account was submitted anonymously. We verified enough of the details to believe it. The man tells us to call him Derek. Derek was 28 at the time. He'd driven 4 hours south for a job interview, one of those situations where you need the job, so you make the drive no matter what the weather app says. The interview ran long. By the time he was back on the highway heading home, the sky had turned the color of a bruise. Weather alerts were going off on his phone every few minutes. He ignored the first 2. By the third, the rain was coming down so hard his wipers couldn't keep up. He pulled off at what looked like an old gas station. Gravel lot. Dark windows. Hand-painted sign barely readable in the downpour. He figured he'd wait it out. 20 minutes. Maybe 30. He cut his engine to save gas. And that's when the other car pulled in. No headlights. It rolled into the far end of the lot, slowly, and stopped. Engine still running. Derek could see the exhaust drifting up in the rain. He assumed it was another stranded driver. Same situation as him. But the driver never got out. The car just sat there. Engine running. No lights. 5 minutes passed. 10. 15. Derek told himself it was fine. He told himself people sit in their cars all the time. But something about the angle of it bothered him. The car wasn't parked randomly. It was parked facing him. At 30 minutes, Derek's phone died. At 45 minutes, the other car moved. Slowly. No light still. It pulled forward, crossed the entire lot. And stopped directly behind his car. Derek didn't think. He just drove. He pulled out onto that highway in the middle of the storm, visibility almost zero, and he drove. 40 minutes later he pulled into a highway rest stop. A state trooper was already there, sheltering the same way Derek had planned to. And Derek told him everything. The trooper's expression changed. Whisper, he asked Derek exactly which gas station. Derek described it, the gravel lot, the hand-painted sign. The trooper was quiet for a long moment. Then he told Derek that gas station had been closed and abandoned for 6 years. There was no reason for anyone to be there. No reason, except to wait for someone who pulled off the road. The trooper made a call. He didn't tell Derek everything. But he told him enough. There had been reports. 3 years' worth. Stranded drivers on that stretch of highway followed, approached, robbed. One had never been found. Derek had been in that lot for 45 minutes. Alone. In the dark. With whatever was in that car. He made it home. Not everyone on that road did. If that story unnerved you, and it should, the last one doesn't happen on an empty highway. It doesn't happen in the countryside. It happens inside an apartment building. In a city. On a normal street. In a home that was supposed to be safe. Story 3, she was already inside. This is the one our team almost didn't include. Not because it's graphic. Because it's quiet. And quiet, in horror, is so much worse. Pause. Her name, for this video, is Priya. 26 years old. 4th floor apartment in Chicago. Paralegal. Lived alone by choice, she liked her independence, her space, her routine. The night a tornado warning locked down her building, she was prepared. Emergency kit under the bed. Flashlights charged. Candles on the counter. The building's intercom had announced. No one in, no one out until the warning lifted. Priya was fine with that. She made tea. She checked her locks, deadbolt, chain, she always checked twice. She settled onto her couch and turned on a movie to drown out the sound of the storm outside. She was 40 minutes into the film when the lightning hit. Just a flash. A second of pure white light flooding the room. And in that second, in the dark screen of her television, which had briefly gone black from the power surge. Whisper. She saw a reflection. Her living room behind her. The hallway. And a figure. Standing at the end of it. Priya did not move. She told us later that her body simply stopped working for a full 10 seconds. Every instinct told her, do not react. Do not show that you saw. She reached for her phone. Called 911. Then, slowly, she stood. Moved to her front door. Deadbolt. Still locked. Chain. Still on. She had not unlocked that door all evening. And yet, someone was inside. She pressed herself against the front door and looked down the hallway. Her bathroom door was CLO. She never closed that door. Not once. Not in 2 years of living there. She told the 911 operator, quietly, barely breathing, what she saw. The operator told her to stay on the line. Stay by the door. Do not engage. She waited. In the dark. In her own home. Listening to the storm hammer the windows and the silence behind that closed bathroom door. 4 minutes. That's how long it took for building security to reach her floor. 4 minutes is a very long time when someone is 12 feet away from. Police found him in the bathroom. A man she recognized immediately. Her neighbor from down the hall. Quiet. Kept to himself. Always nodded when they passed in the hallway. He'd been collecting her mail when she forgot it. She'd thought he was being kind. He'd made a copy of her key. Police later discovered he'd been inside her apartment before. Multiple times. They found photographs. A log he had kept, dates, times, what she wore, what she ate. He had been watching her life like it belonged to him. The tornado warning gave him a reason the building couldn't question. No one in. No one out. He simply walked in. And waited for the storm to keep her there with him. Priya moved the following week. She told us she checks her bathroom door every single night before she sleeps. She always closes it now. 3 storms. 3 people who survived. But here's what stays with you, long after the rain stops. The storm didn't create the danger in any of these stories. It just gave the danger cover. Knocking disguised by thunder. A car hidden by darkness and rain. A building locked down tight, with something already inside it. The storm was never the threat. It was the permission. So next time the power goes out. Next time the signal drops and the roads flood and you're sitting there thinking you're sealed safely inside. Ask yourself one question. Are you sure you're alone? If these stories kept you watching until the very end, thank you for being here. Hit that like button right now, it helps more people find these stories. Drop a comment below, tell us, has a storm ever left you with a feeling you couldn't shake? We want to hear it. Share this video with someone who says they don't scare easily. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We upload new horror every single week, and these stories only get deeper. You can also submit your own real experience in the comments below. If your story is chosen, we'll feature it on Midnight Whisper. Stay safe out there. And keep your doors locked.